Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Battle Through the Heavens 2. Rebirth of Emperor Yang Part 6 based on novel. So let's start. After Yuan Qing left, Xiao Yan's eyes fell straight on the broken mountain. Xiao Yan's eyes were hot at the moment and the blood in his chest surged continuously. After determining that there was no one around, he flew to a huge crack in the mountain. After Xiao Yan bullied into the cave, there was a spacious cave, so dozens of people stood side by side. As soon as Xiao Yan then entered, an invisible heat wave came to his face. Xiao Yan ignored it, looked surprised, waved his palm, and a flame-like curtain appeared around him, enveloping Xiao Yan in it. The heat wave rolled and bombarded the flame curtain, making a bang, bursting out a ripple like a water wave, and then dissipated in the void. Xiao Yan frowned. Unexpectedly, the heat wave not only has the ability to rebound attacks like the prohibition of the outside world, but also can fight back independently. However, fortunately, the power of these attacks is not large, at least not enough to break Xiao Yan's fighting shield. Xiao Yan was moving forward in the cave, but Xiao Yan found that the more he went inside, the more powerful the heat wave roaring out of the cave was, and the gas mask arranged by Xiao Yan was constantly shaking. But Xiao Yan ignored all this and just kept moving forward. But from Xiao Yan's tightly wrinkled eyebrows, we can know that Xiao Yan's heart is not as calm as his surface. At the moment, there was a sense of horror in Xiao Yan's heart, because whenever the flame and air wave bombarded his flame-like curtain, Xiao Yan could find that whenever the invisible air wave burst, there would be a flame that Xiao Yan could not detect into the flame-like curtain arranged by Xiao Yan. At first, Xiao Yan thought it was a trace of the origin of the different fire, which was the real great fortune. Xiao Yan didn't refuse anyone and included all his different fire. But when Xiao Yan collected a handful, Xiao Yan was shocked to find that the origin of those strange fires was not the creation of his own chance. However, the spirit of different fire did it intentionally and wanted to seize the different fire in Xiao Yan's body. For these, Xiao Yan also wants to isolate, but Xiao Yan is more surprised to find that he can't peel the strange fire out of his body, that the bone spirit cold fire in his body is being swallowed up. It has been swallowed up in a moment and now it is impossible to return, because the cave passage behind Xiao Yan has been filled with flames. If you want to return, you have to break through this heavy sea of fire. You can Xiao Yan's strength, but Xiao Yan is not sure that he can go out, so now you can only continue to move forward. Xiao Yan's face was dignified. At this moment, Xiao Yan finally reached the end of the flame heat wave. However, at the end of the flame heat wave, Xiao Yan didn't find any useful information, even the shadow of different fire. Xiao Yan stood at the end of the passage. In front of Xiao Yan, there was a bottomless abyss. The abyss gave Xiao Yan a feeling that he felt a sense of death when he looked at it. It was obviously a forbidden area. Even Xiao Yan could never stay on the void for even a minute. Only the winding stone platform suspended in the void can give people a sense of survival. Xiao Yan looked to the top. At the top of the stone platform, there was a platform, where there was a seeming fire. The fire was very dark, but it lit up the whole cave. Around the stone platform, there were 6 icicles, which were connected and sent out a raging flame. Under the cover of the flame, Xiao Yan could not see the content, but he was sure that the 6 icicles were by no means mortal. Among those stone terraces, which were about 10 feet wide, were engraved with flame prohibitions, and a burning breath emerged from them, which made Xiao Yan feel numb. However, when Xiao Yan saw the figure on the opposite stone wall, his eyes were slightly stunned. It is a huge stone carving. The whole stone carving presents a silver-white color and emits yin treasure light. The content of the stone carving is an old man. His face is no different from that of ordinary old people, but he stands proudly there. Although his eyes are also carved from stone, they still give people a sense of arrogance. He was dressed in a robe and had no decorative color. His hands carved from stone made a strange handprint, which was full of the extremely mysterious feeling, which made Xiao Yan's eyebrows wrinkle slightly. And the whole stone carving has only one color. It was his hair, a silver white and bright ice crystal like jade ice blue hair. Although it was made of rock, the silver white hair was visible from root to root. Xiao Yan stood where he was, his eyes wide open, looked at the stone carving unbelievably, and spit out 4 words in shock after a long time. Tuo Shegu Emperor. At the same time, in an ice blue hall, an old man with white robes and ice blue hair suddenly opened his closed eyes. Looking at the old man's appearance, he is just like the stone carving. The old man slightly narrowed his eyes and looked at the dome of the hall, and that direction was where Xiao Yan was. There was a little joy in the old man's eyes, but also a faint reluctance to give up, and a relieved smile was slightly aroused in the corners of his mouth. Immediately, I heard the old man's heroic voice ringing through the hall. "Ha ha, you've been here for more than 10 years. Ha ha, some old guys, I think, who can compare with me this time, ha ha." The old man looked at the direction where Xiao Yan was, then closed his muddy eyes again, concentrated on cultivation, and quietly waited for Xiao Yan's arrival. In the hall, the old man's silence calmed down instantly. Only the old man's breathing sound was heard in every corner of the hall. Xiao Yan frowned at the huge stone carving opposite, especially the old man's face and his ice blue silver hair. Xiao Yan's beautiful face showed a look of surprise. Unexpectedly, Tuo Shegu Emperor had been here. I can't say that this is the place he left for inheritance. Speaking of it, I'm also half an apprentice of Tuo Shegu Emperor. Hey, Tuo Shegu Emperor, your inheritance, younger generation, I'm not polite. Xiao Yan couldn't help getting excited when he thought that it might be the inheritance place of the ancient Buddha. He closed his palm and rubbed it constantly. He looked like a professional thief. But the next moment, Xiao Yan became serious again. Since it was the inheritance left by the ancient Buddha, it must be extraordinary. No wonder I felt a terrible smell of strange fire before. It seems that the inheritance here is difficult to take. Xiao Yan looked at the endless abyss and the stone terraces suspended in the air. After a little hesitation, he walked towards the first stone platform. When he came near, Xiao Yan was able to see the stone platform completely. It turned out that there was a black thin iron chain in the southeast and northwest directions of Shitai, which hung down to the depths of the abyss invisible to Xiao Yan. There is also a black painted iron chain between each 2 stone platforms, up to the highest platform emitting bursts of fire. The mysterious runes are also depicted on the root chains. The runes also emit bursts of weak energy light from time to time, making the whole space very mysterious. Xiao Yan's face was a little dignified and murmured in his heart. Unexpectedly, there is such a huge array here. It seems that it is difficult to break through this level. The first level is so difficult. I really don't know how difficult the next level is. Tut tut, Tuo Shegu Emperor, you are clearly difficult. Xiao Yan shook his head and sighed while thinking. Before Xiao Yan came to the endless abyss, the corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching a little, and his heart also stirred a little. Xiao Yan calmed his mood slightly and stared at the first stone platform. The legs bent slightly, the body bowed forward, and the soles of the feet stepped on the ground fiercely. The whole body immediately flew away towards the suspended stone platform, which was only 3 or 4 feet away from him. The perfect jump radiant in Xiao Yan's imagination did not appear. On the contrary, Xiao Yan's body began to fall down just halfway. While Xiao Yan was shocked, the soles of Xiao Yan's falling feet stepped heavily again and stepped on the dark iron chain. Xiao Yan's body finally took off again. Finally, it landed on the edge of the stone platform. At the moment when Xiao Yan landed, Xiao Yan's body sank involuntarily. However, Xiao Yan didn't care too much, but looked back with a lucky face. But at this look, Xiao Yan saw the originally dark iron chain, but it was emitting a faint light at this time. At the moment, the iron chains in several directions of the stone platform where Xiao Yan is located are also emitting light from the contact point with the stone platform. With the speed visible to the naked eye, it gradually extends to the distance. I believe that before long, the iron chain full of the whole cave will give off a bright light. Xiao Yan became dignified when he saw this face. Once all the iron chains radiated light, it showed that the mysterious array in the cave would be started. At that time, it would be really difficult. Xiao Yan turned his head, frowned, thought carefully, and then wanted to get up. But it made his face slightly changed, but the next moment, it was a smile from the corners of his mouth. With a sudden shock, he stood up, ignored the strong suction force from the soles of his feet and the great pressure from his body, and went straight to the stone platform opposite, as if the pressure on the stone platform was nothing. You should know that Xiao Yan is a strong man with both fighting spirit and physical cultivation. How powerful his physical strength is and how this pressure can be suppressed. With his first experience, Xiao Yan is also gradually familiar with the situation on the stone platform. Although the pressure on the stone platform is bigger and bigger, it is still difficult to defeat Xiao Yan. But Xiao Yan also found that as long as he stepped on a stone platform, the iron chain around the stone platform would be activated, which began to shine and extend further, which made Xiao Yan a little anxious in his heart. And Xiao Yan is also jumping forward again and again. Xiao Yan is only one step away from the last stone platform. As long as he takes this step, he is only one step away from the platform. Xiao Yan's face full of sweat also showed a comfortable smile, but when Xiao Yan looked at the dark chains around him, his face became ugly again. Xiao Yan stepped forward with heavy steps step by step. It can be seen that at this moment, even Xiao Yan is already a little weak. Bang! Xiao Yan was half kneeling and squatting on the ground, breathing heavily in his mouth, and the sweat on his face fell on the ground like blooming chrysanthemums. Xiao Yan's face was dignified. He looked at the platform only 9 feet away from him, and his teeth rattled. Xiao Yan looked up at the platform close at hand, and then looked at the large array around him. With a horizontal heart and a fierce support with both hands on the ground, the body that was half kneeling on the ground forcibly stood up and looked at the opposite platform with firm eyes. Because the platform was high, Xiao Yan couldn't see what was on the stone platform, but as long as he got there, the divorce fire would not be far away. Thinking of this, Xiao Yan's eyes became more and more firm, and his eyes towards the platform were full of hope. Xiao Yan walked towards the opposite edge of the stone platform under his feet step by step, and the light on the iron chains around him was also extending. Until now, Xiao Yan found that the end of those chains were connected to the 6 icicles. At this time, the 6 icicles are also sending out bursts of glittering and translucent light, echoing those glittering and translucent iron chains. Xiao Yan's complexion changed again. His pace was a little faster and he came to the edge of the stone platform. Looking at the platform a little higher than the stone platform, I took a deep breath. My body bowed forward again. My legs diverged in a bow shape and bent slightly. In a moment, I suddenly shot away at the platform. Xiao Yan looked at the platform closer and closer to himself and the faint fluorescence that was about to connect with the 6 icicles, but he was very anxious in his heart. Fast! Fast! Almost! Finally, with a cry in Xiao Yan's heart, Xiao Yan finally landed on the platform before the fluorescence connected with the icicle. Xiao Yan took a look at the fluorescence that was about to touch, turned his head and looked at the center of the platform, but he was a little stunned. The center of the platform was not a different fire that should have existed, but a vertical downward hole. The diameter of the hole was about 10 feet long, and the whole body was ice blue, emitting a light shimmer. The upper part of the whole hole illuminated was dazzling and dazzling. Xiao Yan is also an experienced man. After a few breaths, he stepped on the ground and rushed towards the hole. He saw that he was only a few feet away from the hole. But at this critical time, the whole platform where Xiao Yan was really shining brightly, and a light column went straight to the sky, which made Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed. Xiao Yan's heart roared violently, and his forward body didn't retreat but advance. The soles of his feet stepped heavily on the ground again, and shot away at the light column more rapidly. But just as Xiao Yan was about to enter the light column, Xiao Yan suddenly changed his face. His palm fiercely hit forward and hit the light column in front of him heavily. Boom! A startling noise came from the place where Xiao Yan's palm was bombarded. A huge shock force churned the qi and blood in Xiao Yan's body, and his body retreated to the edge of the platform before he stopped. At this moment, Xiao Yan naturally knew what had happened. Xiao Yan's eyes narrowed slightly and looked at the rising light column in front of him, and his fighting qi slowly moved all over his body. A moment later, the light column gradually dissipated and revealed something in it. Opposite Xiao Yan, in front of the hole, there were 6 ice dragons hundreds of feet long. The huge dragon mouth roared and sent out bursts of cold breath, which made some fine ice debris appear in the space, but at the moment of the ice debris, it was swallowed by a fierce heat. It turns into bursts of fog, rises and dissipates in the void. Up to now, if Xiao Yan can't recognize the different fire sealed by himself, it will really tarnish Xiao Yang's title of Yang Emperor. At the moment when Xiao Yan saw the 6 ice dragons, he knew what kind of strange fire was in the mountain. The strange fire here was obviously one of the longest kinds of strange fire Xiao Yan had dealt with, and it was also the first kind of strange fire Xiao Yan had seen, bone spirit cold fire. Unexpectedly, the strange fire sealed here will be bone spirit cold fire. It seems that if you want to get this bone spirit cold fire, you have to break through this level first. Xiao Yan looked at the 6 ice dragons, shook his head slightly and sighed. Then he raised his fighting spirit and prepared for the next battle. The 6 ice dragons seemed to know that Xiao Yan was about to start fighting. Therefore, the huge bodies that had been entrenched around each other began to twist, emitting a frightening dragon power. With Xiao Yang's strength, we can naturally feel it. I'm afraid the strength of these 6 ice dragons has reached the point of fighting the Emperor. Even compared with themselves, I'm afraid they are just a weak line. Unexpectedly, the ice dragon condensed by the array is so powerful that it still has a trace of the prestige of the dragon family. It seems that this array is not simple. Xiao Yan felt the terrible dragon power of the ice dragon. He sighed in his heart. Looking at the 6 dragons, Xiao Yan suddenly burst into a hot war in his eyes. His body flashed and rushed towards the 6 ice dragons. One punch hit the first dragon, and the dragon showed no weakness. The huge dragon claws suddenly clenched into a fist and greeted it with one punch. Together with Xiao Yang's fists, the fists intersected with each other. In a short time, a bombing sound like thunder rang through the cave, making the whole cave roar. Xiao Yan and the dragon took a step back respectively. The dragon's huge dragon body swung and rushed towards Xiao Yan again. Xiao Yan laughed, moved his mind and burst into a bright golden light. A majestic dragon power emanated from Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan roared up to the sky. Suddenly, an arrogant dragon chant echoed in the cave. Even the whole mountain shook violently, and the golden light dispersed. Xiao Yan was covered with purple and golden dragon scales, but this is not over. Xiao Yan's hands are still changing and printing. The golden light that had faded suddenly became bright again. Xiao Yan's body also began to change and gradually increased. In just a few breaths, Xiao Yan had turned into a golden giant as high as 9 feet and 9 feet. Xiao Yan looked at the giant dragon flying in front of him and blew it out with one blow, hitting the giant dragon claw hard. Xiao Yan suddenly gave a loud roar. The power of the huge golden fist intensified fiercely. One punch reversed the bombardment of the ice dragon in front of him. The seal knot in Xiao Yan's hand changed again. The ancient imperial seal in the imperial seal was displayed by Xiao Yan. He slapped it on the dragon's body and blew it away heavily. Xiao Yan stopped fighting after this move, but waited quietly in place. The remaining 5 ice dragons looked at the beaten ice dragon, roared in bursts, stared at Xiao Yan with vicious eyes, and surrounded Xiao Yan. Since you can't hide, let's have a good fight. Xiao Yan grinned and roared in his mouth. Looking at the 5 ice dragons gathered around, his huge body suddenly bombarded them. His huge fist rushed towards the head of an ice dragon, and the other hand was a record of ancient imperial seal, and his huge foot was unwilling to fall behind. The level 8 avalanche that had not been used for a long time was bombarded by Xiao Yan towards another dragon, and even Huangquan Qianyu was used. Moo! Moo! Although Xiao Yan's attack power is not weak and all his moves are fierce, the 5 dragons are really not weak. They are only slow for a moment under the yellow spring Qianyu. After a moment, they rush towards Xiao Yan again. These dragons themselves are made of bone spirit cold fire and are also the attack means of the array. I see that those powerful attacks are coming. Each dragon's body lit up a white flame, and its mouth also ejected flame beams, which finally fused together and turned into a strong flame-like column, shooting at Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan's face was dignified when he saw this. The strength of each of these dragons was almost the same as that of him. At the moment, these dragons integrated their attacks together, and the power would double. Xiao Yan looked at the flame beam closer and closer to him, stretched his hands forward and leveled with his chest. With a bang, the gorgeous flame rose in the palm of his hand, and patted his hands hard. Little sparks burst into stars in the void. The fire in Xiao Yan's hand soared, and the flame wrapped Xiao Yan's palm in it. Xiao Yan looked at the 5 dragons getting closer and closer, and his body was fighting fiercely towards the strange fire in his palm. The movement of his hand was faster and faster. After a few breaths, Xiao Yan's huge golden body slammed into the flame light column and forcibly blocked the light column with his own body. The fire in his hand became brighter and brighter. When Xiao Yan rushed to the 5 dragons with his injured body, his right hand suddenly pushed forward, and a gorgeous lotus flew out of Xiao Yan's hand and shot straight at the 5 dragons. At the same time, Xiao Yan roared. Buddha angry lotus. Burst. Boom. A loud noise spread to the whole cave. Xiao Yan's huge body hit the stone wall of the cave, and cracks like spider webs spread around Xiao Yan. The 5 dragons were also covered with scars and were blown upside down, and even the first ice dragon was embedded in the stone wall. Boom! Xiao Yan's huge feet kicked hard on the broken stone wall, and his huge body suddenly flew away towards the hole in the center of the stone platform. After Xiao Yan's huge figure also flew out, he changed back to his original appearance. His face was a little pale, his mouth was covered with trace of blood, and his white robe was messy and looked very embarrassed, but its forward body still gives people a powerful feeling full of power, which makes people feel an incomparable powerful pressure, as if everything in the world is under its feet. Roar! Suddenly, a complete sound of dragon singing sounded out of thin air. The original 6 ice dragons disappeared and replaced by a giant dragon with a huge body and full of 1/5 of the size of the whole cave space. As soon as Xiao Yan's body fell on the platform, he quickly dodged to one side. A huge dragon tail flashed past Xiao Yan's place, bringing a gust of wind, blowing Xiao Yan's clothes and robes. The cold wind brought by the dragon tail made Xiao Yan's skin tingle like a knife. Xiao Yan's figure kept flashing, and finally stopped at the edge of the platform. His eyes were full of dignified color. The huge body of the ice dragon hovered over the cave. Xiao Yan glanced at the statue of Tuoshegu Emperor, which was smashed by its blow, and his eyes showed a suspicious color. But he couldn't help thinking about it. The dragon attacked again and patted Xiao Yan's head with one claw. If he caught it with one claw, Xiao Yan would die here on the spot. Xiao Yan didn't hesitate and struck it with the palm of his right hand. At the same time, his mouth was wide open, and his left hand pointed to the dragon's forehead. Huang Quan palm. Huang Quan finger. Huang Quan Tian Yu. Moo. Moo. The dragon just wanted to move, but when he saw that finger, his 2 dragon claws went up together and grabbed down angrily towards Xiao Yan's 2 hands. The huge dragon eyes were full of rage. Because, Xiao Yan, it's not good for him to use the yellow spring finger, but he uses the middle finger. Now it makes the ice dragon really angry. Boom! This time, Xiao Yan retreated 100 feet with each other, but the dragon didn't give Xiao Yan a chance to breathe. As soon as he stopped, the whole body sent out a palpitating cold air, but in the cold air, there was also a very fierce and domineering flame breath, which made people feel that the temperature of the whole body was constantly changing between extreme cold and extreme heat. Roar! The dragon suddenly sent out a light beam. The light beam was dazzling. It wrapped the whole dragon into a part of the light beam and shot at Xiao Yanbiao. The blow was powerful enough to shake the sky and break the void. It seemed that under this move, everything was mole ants and nothing. Xiao Yan's face was extremely dignified. In the palm of his hand, different fires emerged. The different fires continued to surround in the middle of his palm, faster, and finally formed a flame aperture. The flame aperture continued to rotate, absorbing the aura of heaven and earth. In the center of the flame aperture, a thumb-sized black spot continued to spread until it occupied the center of the whole flame aperture. Xiao Yan looked at the energy beam that was getting closer and closer to him. The flame aperture in his hand stood flat, and the black part in the middle was aimed at the energy beam. Xiao Yan gently spit out 4 words. Buddha anger reincarnation. Boom! Between heaven and earth, a violent energy wave swept from a tall mountain in the distant forest. Within thousands of miles, no one, whether human or warcraft, survived. Boom! In the cave, the smoke and dust are scattered. On a small platform, two figures stand opposite each other. Standing at both ends of the platform, a huge ice dragon crawls behind a white figure in front of him. The smoke and dust in the sky will automatically disperse in the distance in front of the old man, so that people can see his face clearly. The man is wearing a plain white robe and lost his hands behind him, a head of ice blue long hair draped over his shoulder, with some traces of vicissitudes of life on his face. It looks no different from ordinary old people, but the smile on his mouth makes people feel a mysterious smell. At the moment, the old man is looking at Xiao Yan with a little smile and a trace of helplessness on his face. Xiao Yan looked as like as two peas in the face of the familiar old man, who had always been calm and calm. At the moment, he was very shocked, because now he was standing on the opposite side of Xiao Yan, no other people, just like the huge stone carving. "Hey, boy, do you want to destroy my cave?" The old man looked at Xiao Yang Dao with some teasing in his eyes, but Xiao Yang was stunned when he heard this, "Cave?" That doesn't mean that the spirit of different fire is not self-sealing, but practicing in isolation. In this way, he not only demolished others' homes, but also disturbed others' isolation. Xiao Yang was stunned. He had been fighting for a long time before he came here, but in the end, it was someone else's closed cave. Think about the previous prohibition, isn't it used to drive away and frighten those people with low strength? When he thought of this, Xiao Yang's face twitched. In this way, all he did became disturbing others' cleaning. Isn't the strange fire you're about to get a joke bubble? As we all know, fires should not be disturbed when they are closed, because once the closed person is breaking through at that time, and people outside suddenly interrupt the closed person's breakthrough, what they commit is equivalent to the hatred of life and death, because once the breakthrough is interrupted, the mottled and chaotic energy of heaven and earth in the fire cannot be suppressed and refined, and they rush and collide in the fire, destroying the friar's meridians and collaterals will make the friar's body angry and violent, and there is a risk of explosion. If this happens, the friar's future will be destroyed, the friar's accomplishments will stagnate, or the friar's body will explode and die on the spot. At this time, Xiao Yang obviously has violated this mainland rule, but even if he has violated it, look at the seemingly kind-hearted old man in front of him. Xiao Yang admits that if the two people are opposite, he may not be able to take over each other's move. Xiao Yang's face became more and more dignified, while the dragon behind the old man roared a few times. The old man in plain clothes immediately turned his head and glared at the dragon. The dragon quickly shut up and stopped making a sound, but he could feel the meaning of watching jokes from his pair of giant longuns, which made Xiao Yang feel strange. Suddenly, Xiao Yang seemed to think of something. He suddenly looked up at the old man in plain clothes, stared at the old man, and said, "You are an imperial pill. Otherwise, how can you look like Tuo Shegu Emperor? You should also be a pill refined by Tuo Shegu Emperor." Poof! He had already taken out a bottle of wine. The wine that had not been swallowed in the mouth of the plain old man who was drinking was suddenly sprayed out by him. As soon as the wind blew, all the wine fell on the old man's wrinkled face. The old man ignored the wine on his face and looked at Xiao Yang angrily, while the giant dragon behind him had a mouth open and trembled violently. There was almost a startling and complete dragon roar, and a pair of huge longuns were full of water spray. Xiao Yang also seemed to find that he had said something wrong, but it was irreparable, so he had to stand still and wait for the answer of the old man in plain clothes. A moment later, the old man finally had a reaction. He looked away and said to Xiao Yang, "Little rabbit, an emperor's young pill can make such a deep impression on you. It's really a poor boy who has never seen the world. Come with me. I'll tell you who I am in person so that you can have some insight. Otherwise, hey. In this continent, your eyesight can be justified in the periphery. When you get to the middle of the continent, cut." The old man in plain clothes burst into laughter while talking. Xiao Yang kept turning his lips, but he was more curious about the old man. The old man in plain clothes obviously knew himself very well. It seems that there are many things he didn't know about himself. Xiao Yang followed the old man in plain clothes into the hall where the old man used to be. Xiao Yang saw 3 words written on the plaque in the hall. Yogu Temple. Xiao Yan took a look and continued to follow the old man in plain clothes into the hall. When entering the hall, it was no different from some ordinary discussion halls. The only difference was that there were only 2 seats and a futon in the whole hall. I couldn't figure out what the role was. Xiao Yan skipped it directly. The old man in plain clothes motioned Xiao Yan to sit on the seat. The seats were placed together and matched with a table. Xiao Yan sat directly on the seat without talking. He just sat on the seat quietly. Xiao Yan knew that next, he should be able to know his doubts. Sure enough, when Xiao Yan sat down, the old man in plain clothes also sat down. With a wave of his sleeve robe, a set of tea utensils appeared, and escaped in the hall with a hot fork. My name is Guyo. My body is bone spirit cold fire. It is the different fire of heaven and earth. It can burn all things in the world. I followed Tuo Shegu Emperor here in the past and waited here according to the order of Tuo Shegu Emperor. When Ji Yu spoke, his tone was filled with a sense of arrogance. His old face was full of arrogance, but Xiao Yan heard a trace of other meaning in his words. Ji Yu was waiting for someone. Now that Guyo said it in front of Xiao Yan's face, it must be himself. Xiao Yan suddenly became nervous when he thought of it. He didn't know why, but Xiao Yan has always had a special feeling until now. He needs strength and strong strength, and this, Xiao Yan hesitated a little and asked Ji Yu. I think I can take what you just said and think that you are waiting for someone. If you are waiting for someone, then if that person is right, it is me, right? Ji Yu nodded and continued, my task is to help you get all the contents of your practice and help you achieve great success. Xiao Yan was fascinated, but he suddenly heard all the contents of his practice. Hearing this, Xiao Yan looked up in an instant, his eyes filled with an incredible look, and stared at the old man in plain clothes in front of him. Xiao Yan knew the words of the old man in plain clothes very clearly. The skill that the old man in plain clothes said was naturally the skill Xiao Yan practiced, burning. Xiao Yan swallowed a mouthful of saliva with a thud in his throat. His eyes were full of hot looking at the old man in plain clothes. His whole body trembled because of excitement. Until a long time later, Xiao Yan asked with a slightly dry and dumb voice. You mean, there's still the second part of burning determination? Can burning determination continue to strengthen? The old man in plain clothes listened to Xiao Yan's dry and hoarse voice and knew that Xiao Yan was absolutely excited at the moment. Therefore, he didn't joke and nodded to Xiao Yan. Seeing this, Xiao Yan was very excited. He just wanted to ask, but Ji Yu said again. Although I will help you to practice burning determination to a great level, you still need to get the whole part of the skill by yourself, because even I have only 1/5 of the full version of burning determination, and the other 4 parts are in the hands of the other 4 guys, but whether you can get them depends on yourself. Xiao Yang originally looked at Ji Yu with both eyes sighing, but when he heard the following sentence, he shrank back and looked at Ji Yu with a depressed face. Ji Yu was also quite depressed and helpless. This was also done by Tuo Shegu Emperor at the beginning. How can it be all blamed on him? But the next moment, Xiao Yang who responded asked. You said the other 4 parts were in the hands of others. Do you know who those 4 people are? Why don't you take them back? Xiao Yang wanted to ask, but it seemed that he suddenly thought of something. His eyes looked at Ji Yu in shock and said again. Or, you are not the opponent of those 4 guys. Are they better than you? Ji Yu was listening to Xiao Yang's random guess about the whereabouts of the 4 parts of the residual skills, but suddenly heard what Xiao Yang had just said. His eyes became excited, and roared loudly, saying, You young generation, how can you say that to please the elders? How can those 4 old guys be my opponents? What's more, I wait for the inheritor first. How can they be compared with me? Eh? It seems that he suddenly thought of what he said and turned to see Xiao Yang's gloomy face. Ji Yu suddenly stayed in place and stopped talking until Xiao Yang looked at Ji Yu with his eyes open for a long time. Alas! You boy, it seems that you said so deliberately because you think I won't hurt you. Well, I'll tell you sooner or later. I'm Ji Yu. I'm one of the 5 Yang Seal acupoints. Yu Acupoint is the person waiting for me. At the beginning, Tuoshigu Emperor, that is, the Numenon of our 5 people, was born from the fighting spirit continent and integrated many different fires. Finally, he reached the peak in this continent. On the day of its breakthrough, heaven and earth trembled, fire and rain fell, and the 8 wastelands burned up. It was like the catastrophe of the mainland, the earth shook constantly, and the magma rushed into the sky like a spring. Corresponding to the fire and rain, there was a sea of fire in the sky and underground, and the whole continent became a human purgatory. Seeing this, Emperor Tuoshigu called the spirit of heaven and earth with his ability to connect heaven and earth, reshaped all things in the mainland, and all creatures in the world survived. After 100 years, because he tasted all the things in the world, he wanted to return to the world between heaven and earth, but because there was a secret on the mainland that had not yet been settled, so he kept it for inheritance until someone came to take it. But I was afraid of being taken away by those who deceived the good, so 5 of us were later differentiated from the body, so that we could choose inheritors here, and they scattered their cultivation and died in the world. Who tilde you should know when I say this. Finally, Gu breathed out a long breath, which made him say with a little excitement in his heart. Xiao Yan nodded, but then raised his head, frowned and asked Gu. Since the Tuoshigu Emperor dissipated on this continent, what about the Tuoshigu Emperor's cave on the Duki continent? Well, why don't you allow a living person to stay in the cave? Hey, it's just a cave. What's the fuss? Gu listened to the casual pick of his eyebrows and then said blandly. Xiao Yang still looked at Gu suspiciously, but he didn't see anything. Finally, he had to give up thinking. Just in his heart, he suddenly felt a little confused about the strange fire square far above the fighting continent. It seemed that there was something he didn't know attracting him, but it was interrupted by Guyo. But Xiao Yang said in a daze. That strange fire square, Hao seems to have just seen it somewhere. Hearing this, the pupil suddenly shrinks. This video will end here.